Welcome to another Spiritual Awakening. I'm A.G. Green Sr. You know what to do. Tag and share and tag. Tag and share and tag. Let people know that we're on the air this wonderful, wonderful day. Great day to you. Whatever time it is you're watching me in the world, I count it a joy and a privilege to be able to speak with you on tonight. Let's do what we always do. Let's start with prayer. Almighty, we're just so grateful and thankful for who and what you are, what you've done and what you're doing. Thank you for love and peace and joy. Thank you for faculties, our extremities. Thank you right now for all things. Thank you for your guidance in this moment. Thank you that these truths would penetrate the deepest recesses, even in the inner vaults of our hearts, to liberate us, to free us, and make us more aware of your love and your support. And we bless you now in Yeshua's name, by his power and consciousness. It is so, and so it is. Great day again to everybody. Tag and share and tag. Tag and share and tag. You are made in the image, I believe, in likeness of an almighty, ubiquitous, omnipotent being. You're the offspring of the Creator. You are a powerful God class and God species yourself. And I want you to type it quickly in the comment section. I am powerful. And I want you to own that power as you're typing it. Let it course through you. Let the presence of the Almighty that is already one with you, let it flow through you. I am powerful. I feel the power. I sense the power rippling through my being. I am powerful. Come on, declare it. Speak it. Decree it. Know it. Walk in it. I am powerful. Just speak it out loud. Speak it out loud. I am powerful. These are things that you've got to know. These are things that you've got to embrace. That's right. I am powerful. I am powerful. Thank you for joining. I am powerful. Yes, the power, when you learn to acknowledge it, will surge through you. Oh, this is such a wonderful time. Folks say chill bumps, but it's really the presence It's the presence that's never absent, as one great teacher would say. And we are just so profoundly marked by God. And I'm so thankful and grateful. How y'all doing? Talk back to me. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Don't forget to tag and share when you come in. Come on, how y'all doing? Talk back to a brother. Talk back to your teacher. How you doing? Curious to know how you doing. Good to see you on, Loretta, Hillary, Nick, Krista. Let's grow this audience. We want to get these shares up. We want to get this exposure up. And make sure we have the emoji effect tonight where we do likes, hearts, and emojis so that we can impact the algorithm to encourage Facebook to just kind of elevate our presence online. Let's see. Nick says, wonderful. Almost done with her work shift. Awesome. Wonderful. Hillary says, not feeling best today, but I'm here. Awesomeness. Krista says, doing well tonight. Very good. Very good. So glad again to see all of you all. Now, you know, I don't like to delay. I'm getting ready to get into it. I know many will be joining us later. But before I get into it, we're always making upgrades here at AG Green Now. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to take out your phone real quickly. And I'm going to be seeing who's going to follow my instructions. I want you to take out your phone and scan that image if you can. Let me know if you can scan it. Scan that image. It's going to take you to my Linktree page. And I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things right quick on that Linktree page. Let me know when you have scanned it. Just say, I have scanned it. Yes, that's right. It's a good thing you have two phones. And if you can't do it now, do it later. But make sure you definitely scan it. It may open up in your browser and just save it. And you can go back to it later because I don't want you to miss what I'm getting ready to share with you in the next few minutes. When you get to that page, you're going to see a picture at the top. It's my Linktree page. There are two lists I want you to connect with tonight. The first one says, join my empowerment list. Join my empowerment list. I would probably say for 15, 16, 17 years, I've always had an email list until last year when I pulled away from everything. I dropped all of that. Now I'm rebuilding it. And when you get a chance, I want you to scan that. And there are two lists I want you to join. I want you to join, number one, touch the red button or that says join my empowerment list. And then the next one underneath that is going to say join my healthy mailing list. It's about 3 places down. Join my empowerment list. Join my healthy mailing list. The empowerment list is AG Green Now. That's AG Green Now. You're going to get a welcome email from me. And then for about 7 days in a row, I'm going to start you out talking to you about your higher self, your spirit mind, and how to connect with it. But you're also going to be receiving alerts, freebies. I got a free ebook that is pretty much done, but I need to put the finishing touches on it. All right. So when you join that list, you're going to also have access to that. Secondly, when you join my healthy mailing list, that's going to put you in contact with the entrepreneurial side of my life. I live a healthy lifestyle. There are certain products and supplements along with fitness and nutrition and food that I have incorporated in my life. And so I want you to connect with that. Let me tell you, there are some powerful educational things on that particular list. It shares with you what all the products do, so forth and so on. And if you decide you want to buy, fine. If not, that's fine. I want to introduce you to that side. I'm blessed wherever I go. I receive all kinds of compliments, young, middle age, and even seniorly. And most of them think I'm younger than what I am, especially, well, I don't want to get into that, but most of them think I'm younger than what I am. It's because I believe in taking care of my spirit, my soul, and my body. And I've been talking to my youngest about having a fit or uh, spirit, a spirit that is exercised. That's what I tell him. A mind that is exercised, a body that is exercised. And of course, those products are products I take that continue to enable me to have optimum health and to continue to show up here for you and defy whatever standards there are in terms of aging. And so again, just want to thank y'all for tuning in, joining those lists, those two lists, share them with people. And I've got some other things that I am developing right now, but it's a powerful, awesome thing that I want to bring those I love into this aspect of my world with me. All right, y'all doing pretty good. So we're going to pick up tonight. Who can remember the title of this series? We're in part 3. And we'll have one more after tonight and we'll be done. I'm getting positive feedback offline. And so I'm going to continue to share in this teaching tonight. And then next week should be the final installment. And I appreciate you all for tuning in. Now, what we're talking about, what's our topic? I'm seeing if you're on your toes. We are in class. So what's our topic? What have I been discussing with you over the last couple of weeks? What's our topic? What we've been talking about? What have you been talking about? Do I have to put it up on the screen for you? I'm looking for somebody to type it. I'm going to keep you on your toes tonight. Toxic family members. All right. Anybody else? How to deal with toxic family. How to deal with toxic family. That's what I have been discussing with you all. And so quickly, let me prepare to put some diagrams up on the screen to show you. Now, first of all, I always like to let people know, a lot of times when people are dealing with issues in family, especially if you've been raised, in a religious home or as a part of a religious group, there is some embarrassment around having challenges and struggles in family. And one of the things that I'm endeavoring to do is to help people to know that this is more commonplace than what they may realize and what they may know, than what they may be familiar with. And so, as a result of that, I want you to recognize that your situation is not the only situation in terms of maybe dysfunction or in terms of toxicity that you may have experienced in your family. I want you to know that this is something that is quite prevalent in the world today. You are not alone. You are not by yourself. You're in the company of a whole lot of great people. And so, what I'm endeavoring to do is to kind of give you some kind of education to help you to understand that it doesn't make a difference how many tongues you speak in or how you run up and down the aisle or how much you've meditated and prayed. If you have found yourself in a situation where you have matriculated from or through a situation, a family situation that I'm describing tonight, it is nothing to be ashamed of. And as we see from the examples on the screen today, that there are and were a lot of families in scripture that were basically dysfunctional, toxic type families. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, this is the truth and nothing but the truth. And so even when you look in scripture, you see and you find toxicity. You find toxicity from the Old Testament to the New Testament. And of course, you'll find toxicity as well in other religions. I want you to know and understand that this is something that has been a part of the human experience for many, many, many years. Many, many, many years, it has been a part of the human experience. And so you've got all kinds of families dealing with all kinds of turmoil, dealing with all kinds of struggles, beginning with the family of Cain and Abel. If you're a Bible reader, and I hope that you have been at some point in time in your life, then you would know the story about Cain and Abel. Does everyone on here know the story about Cain and Abel? Talk back to me. Let me know if you're familiar with the story of Cain and Abel. The story of Cain and Abel. We know that Cain was jealous of his brother Abel and slew him. That's right, took his life according to the Genesis account. He slew his brother because he was jealous of his sacrifice. We've got Joseph and his brothers. Joseph, of course, ended up in slavery. Guess why? Guess how? Because of jealous brothers. Jealousy in his family caused him to end up in slavery. That's right. Give the likes and hearts as often as you can. We continue on David and Absalom, and I can give you multiple illustrations about David's family, beginning with his father Jesse, and of course his brothers, all the way up through the time before he slew Goliath. And then David himself, in my opinion, my favorite character other than Yeshua and all the historicity of Scripture. I love me some David. He was a great man, but he wasn't that great of a father. His own daughter was raped, and he didn't avenge her and discipline the son who raped her. Absalom tried to take his kingdom. That's on and on and on. Jacob and Esau, they were basically placed in a situation where they were pitted against each other, where they were positioned to be enemies. The father favored the oldest biological son. The mother favored the youngest. And then we got Lot and his daughters, and I kind of talked to y'all about Lot and his daughters and the incest that existed. After they were able to flee Sodom and Gomorrah, wife turned into a pillar of salt. I told y'all the story. The daughters decided, we're going to keep his seed going. We're going to get daddy drunk and going and have some sex with him. So if that's not toxic or dysfunctional, y'all help a brother out. So you're not by yourself. Somebody shout, I am not alone in my struggles. Type that in the comment section. I'm not alone in any of my struggles. I'm going to quickly go over some of the things that we've discussed. Doing a sound check. Can you see me and hear me well? Let me know if you can see me and hear me well. Let me know if you can see me and hear me well. I'm not going to go back through the statistics that I've shared over the past couple of weeks about toxic families and toxicity, but it's a very real thing. And it exists, as I said, in many, 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 many segments of our society. All right. So here are some symptoms that you're in a toxic family around toxic people. The first one was you don't like being around them, and I won't spend an extensive amount of time on this. I'm just perusing, briefly covering it again today. You dread being around toxic people. Your interactions leave you feeling unseen and weak around these toxic folk. You worry about your own safety sometimes and others when they're around. You feel unsettled just being in the same room as toxic people. They guilt you during conversations. And the way they treat you and others is unsettling. All right. The next symptom in terms of dealing with toxic families is you have consistent blowups. This is one of the signature hallmarks of toxic families. They can't be around each other without there being an argument. At some point in time, there's going to be a disagreement. At some point in time, you're going to step on somebody's toes. People have very sensitive toes in toxic families. A fight, something, when I say a fight, it don't have to be physical. It could be verbal. It could be emotional. We'll break out. People who are toxic, they make personal attacks on other people's characters during arguments. So it can't be an argument about you being late to pick them up or you not calling them. They have to make it personal. They take everything you say personally. You leave your arguments feeling drained and manipulated when you're dealing with toxic people. You feel like you're walking around grenades or eggshells when you're around them. It's like you got to tiptoe. Sadly, again, sometimes your mama is toxic. Sometimes your daddy is toxic. Sometimes your siblings are toxic. Sometimes your uncles and aunts are toxic. Sometimes your cousins are toxic. And if you're in an environment like that, the slightest word at times can set off a firestorm of arguments. Folks cussing each other out, somebody to snatch somebody up by the collar. All right. The next thing is you notice signs of gaslighting, meaning that they're going to use manipulative tactics against you to control you. And then last but not least, your fights are a result of personal issues and not misunderstandings. So it's not just just something that, oh, I didn't hear you correctly, or oh, I just got the wrong idea about that. No, they have a personal issue with you and others. All right. The next symptom is they don't respect your beliefs. They don't respect your beliefs. We're talking about toxic families, how to deal with toxic families. We're looking at some of the symptoms of toxic families. They voice their negative opinion about you publicly or on social media. People need to stop this ratchet stuff, this juvenile stuff, going online, talking about folk. Why? What does it really accomplish in the end? You might feel good for the moment, but it causes you to display a character that I don't think people should see, a side of you that folks should see. And if they're not on social media, they're texting or they're on the phone, running you down with other folk. All right. When you ask them to respect your beliefs, they decline. I mean, you ask them to, this is where I am. This is what I'm trying to do. You're not acting like you're perfect and know it all, but they still find ways to encroach in your territory, trying to tell you what to do when you got you to where you are. And even if you got their help, I appreciate your help, but I'm trying to do something better now. I'm trying to do something different. The next thing is you feel a sense of aggression beyond annoyance. A sense of aggression beyond annoyance. All right. You feel aggression coming from them, and sometimes there's an aggression that tries to rise up in you. The next thing, they don't accept your sexuality or your gender identity. Why did I put this in there? Because regardless of what your religious beliefs are, you should not disown people because they're using their sexuality in a way you do not agree with. Do you know how much stuff has been confessed to me down through the years and why certain people still talk to me? Because I'm not judgmental about that kind of stuff. I'm going to love them regardless. I'm going to advise them the best way I can, but I'm not going to disown them. The next thing is the family members displays active contempt for you. When you're in toxic families, folks will express, this contemptuous attitude toward you. And you're saying to yourself, why? Why? What did I do to deserve this? Sometimes you just walk through the door. Sometimes, you just showed up in the group family Zoom meeting or in the group meeting, or sometimes they heard your voice over the phone and it's like they got an attitude with you. The next thing is they don't accept your partner who is of a different race or religion. There's a lot of this stuff going on. I don't want to get too deeply into that, but they don't respect your beliefs. I'm going through these quickly. The next thing is they make themselves the priority. It's your life, but they're prioritizing themselves over you. The toxic family member repeatedly sabotages plans. You know why? Because they prioritize themselves over you. So you got your holidays planned out. They decide they're going to come at the last minute. Well, you ought to change everything because they showed up. Don't get me wrong. We honor the people we love. But at the same time, if you're going to change your schedule or consider changing your schedule, you at least want to hear the other person say, hey, I know I'm coming at the last minute. If you got to make some changes, I appreciate it. No, these folks act like they're entitled, like you're supposed to drop and do everything for them. The next thing is their inability to consider others always comes at the cost of your needs. Oh my goodness. Their inability to consider others always comes at the cost of your needs. So you're always paying the price. Sometimes you're paying the price on behalf of somebody else they want you to do something for. The next thing is you are generally disappointed by your family's response to their behavior. So when you bring it to their attention, they deflect. When you bring it to their attention, they get defensive. When you bring it to their attention, they throw their weight around in the family. The next thing is you find yourself doing things just to get approval or attention from them. I know this sounds counterproductive. I know that this sounds paradoxical, but yes, we tend to want to please the people that we love, even if they dislike us, even if they mistreat us. We're trying to do the best we can to ingratiate ourselves with them. I don't see no likes and hearts, so everybody must be listening. I hope y'all tagging and sharing and tagging if you just came on. The next thing is they rarely say thank you, even though you're always making sacrifices for them. So listen, if you don't say thank you, it's a problem. Everybody gonna know. She didn't say thank you. I did this, I did that, but they don't want to reciprocate and thank you for your money. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your good advice. Thank you for your love. Last but not least, they're never held accountable for their actions. They're always doing stuff and not held accountable for what they do. Last but not least, they're abusive. These are symptoms. I'm covering the symptoms and then I'm getting to some other stuff we started discussing last week. They're abusive. They bully or harass you. That's right. They bully or harass you. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this? Folk, on the phone, talking about how good the Lord is and uh, witnessing and speaking in tongues and falling out and praying for people. Or sometimes they at church, they coming from church or they in church, and soon as they get you on the phone, as soon as y'all get in the car, soon as y'all get down the road, they're gaslighting you. They're using some manipulative tactics against you. They're bullying you, pushing you in the corner, nitpicking, coming after you. For what? Because they're bullies. Sometimes these folk have been bullied. So the only thing they know how to do to feel like they're in control of the situation and feel better about themselves is bully other people. They have physically attacked you or hurt you in some way. Self-explanatory. You have received both verbal and physical threats from them. I'll cut you off. It's not always that I'm going to, hit you or anything like that. No, you won't see me no more. I'm gonna disappear out your life. I won't have nothing else to do with you. If you marry that man, if you marry that woman, if you do this, if you do that, that's it for me. Don't ask me for nothing. That's a threat. That's basically you saying I ain't helping. I'm not involved. Don't expect me to be there for you. The next thing is your family member is extremely controlling and hypercritical. Oh my. Somebody type it in the comment section. Oh my. Type that in the comment section. Oh my. Extremely controlling and hypercritical. Toxic families are known for this, especially toxic leaders in toxic families are very hypercritical. Listen to this. You took some time in the mirror this morning. You took some time in the mirror this morning, okay? You worked on yourself nicely. You know you looking good. If you're a woman, the nails are looking good. Come on now. If you got that outfit on, that outfit is hitting all your curves just right. You know the makeup is good. You know that I'm talking to women now. You know the lips are popping. Come on now. And this hypocritical, toxic person would say, yeah, you look like you should have, you need to go back in the bathroom and you need to get that out the corner of your eye. Or they'll say, what's all this lipstick? What's all this on your head? What's all this sheen and this shine? What's all this tight clothing you wearing? Hypercritical. It's like, I'm just going to say it. Don't nobody get offended, but it's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. That's the way some people feel when they're in the presence of a family member who's hypercritical. Then they have little to no respect for boundaries or personal space. All right. So it's like, they feel like your life is their life. They feel like everything you have is theirs. They feel like they can take and do from you whenever they want to. And last but not least, listen to this, everybody breathes easier when the family member is absent. They're like, thank God she didn't come this time. Whoo, thank God he's not going to be at the Christmas party this year. Thank God they're not coming to the family reunion. Whoa, woo. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me share a couple of things with you in terms of how toxic people uh, impact others around them. How toxic families, impact toxic people. Let me get back to my screen. How toxic people are damaged by toxic families. Number one, there's emotional and psychological damage. Emotional and psychological damage. Basically, toxic family members often engage in manipulation, criticism, and emotional abuse, leading to feelings of unworthiness and self-doubt. This barrage of like negativity impacts a person's mental health. It causes anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, low self-worth. Dr. Steve Marabali notes poisonous relationships can alter our perception. You can spend many years thinking you're worthless, but you're not worthless. You're underappreciated, end quote. Wow. You're not worthless. You're just underappreciated. I got to see that in the comment section. That last part of that quote, type it in the comment section. I'm not worthless. I'm just underappreciated. Come on, type that in the comment section. I'm not worthless. I'm just underappreciated. Type that in the comment section. I'm going to put it up. Who's going to type it for me? I'm not worthless. I'm just underappreciated. And I'm talking to some people. It took you years to figure out you weren't the problem. You knew you made mistakes. You knew you may have gotten off the rails. You recognize that. Who hasn't gotten off the rails? Thank you, Funsquetta. I'm not worthless. I'm just underappreciated. But then it took you years and years and years to at least come to a place where you could recognize and realize that even in my mistakes, I'm valuable. Even in my errors, I'm valuable. That person just didn't appreciate me enough to help me or to know how to help me or to try and help me in a loving way to get back on track. My. We're going to move on to the second one. So there are a lot of you all who are watching me. You've just been underappreciated. The second impact toxic families have on you are physical health issues. Did you know that chronic stress from toxic relationships can manifest in physical symptoms such as headaches, migraines, digestive issues, a weakened immune system? I can go on and on and on. Some of you all have been living under the stress and the pressure of toxicity. I think some folks have mild cases of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's like you're always living in a warfare type situation. And I want you to understand that the ongoing stress from dealing with toxic family dynamics can lead to severe health problems, including cardiovascular diseases. This is according to Psychology Today. So I want you to understand the seriousness of being impacted by toxic families. Number three, difficulty in forming healthy relationships. I need to do a whole class on this. There's a lot of people who are relationship jumping because they don't realize that they've been impacted by toxicity and they become toxic. Growing up in a toxic environment can skew one's understanding of healthy relationships. Individuals might struggle with trust issues, fear of intimacy. Does it sound familiar?
or may inadvertently replicate toxic patterns in their own relationships? Did you know that in a toxic family, love is masked by manipulation and emotional abuse, highlighting the distortion of what healthy love should be like? Now, let's talk about this for a few minutes. If you've been in several relationships, all right, I'm not trying to speak negatively. I'm not trying to call nobody out, but it's most likely you grew up watching toxicity. If you didn't grow up watching toxicity, at some point in time in your life, you probably have been in a toxic relationship. A toxic relationship. If you grew up watching uh your daddy fight your mama like she was a man, or your mama fighting your daddy like he was a punk or something. If you grew up watching people cuss each other out, if you grew up watching people harass each other, if you grew up watching people throw each other across the room, pimp slapping, pulling out pistols, kicking them, beating the hell out of them. If you grew up watching that stuff, that has impacted you in some kind of way. I want you to hear me. If you grew up in a cheating household where folk cheated, your dad had 4, 5, 6 girlfriends, that's probably why you don't trust men, because you haven't seen a good example of a man. If you're a man, it's probably why you don't trust women, because you haven't seen a good example of a woman in terms of this toxicity. And what ends up happening is that we don't realize that we take on some of this behavior. Even if we don't want to, we take on some of this behavior. It's been modeled before us. So to a certain extent, we've been conditioned by what we've seen everybody is, especially at those young, tender ages. So what happens when you get angry? You'll probably do the same thing you saw your mama or your daddy do when they got angry. You'll see people hit, choke each other, bite each other, and then make up, buying each other gifts. You hear moans and groans coming from the next room. That's their way of making up. And in 2 or 3 weeks, somebody had done something to the other person and they add it again. Some of y'all that had to spend time at, loved ones' houses because your mama and daddy was into it. Some of y'all probably weren't even raised by your mother or your father because of toxicity. So as a result of this, it will impact the way you see yourself, which directly impacts the way you move and are in relationships. Some people fear intimacy. I need to get on, but I want to hit this right quick. Some people fear intimacy. This is what I say, and y'all know, y'all have heard me say this. The metaphysical teachers say this, and I'm going to continue to say this. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. So sometimes the Almighty, the Lord of hosts, will allow somebody that's levels above us to pop up in our life who loves us. But the problem is, number one, 9 times out of 10, you're attracting people like you, toxic, dysfunctional, distrustful, lacking intimacy, got ulterior motives. These are the kinds of people you're attracting. Constantly, you got to look over their shoulders. They're going to do something behind your back. They might steal from you. They might take your money, or they might, step or trample on your heart, or step or trample on your feelings. So as a result of that, you have attracted these people in your life. But then all of a sudden, somebody good does pop up. Somebody great does pop up, whether they're your age, younger, or whether they're older. They pop up in your life. This is the person that, if you can just get it together, is exceptional for you. But usually those are repelled. Usually those are kicked out. Usually those can't hang around because the level they're on is so much higher in terms of being whole, in terms of wholeness, in terms of completeness, in terms of psychological balance, in terms of not having as much dysfunction operating in their own life. Sometimes they've done the inner work. Sometimes they've processed through, whether it's through counseling or through meditation or through whatever. And they've gotten to a place where their perspective has changed, and their perspective is different. And they don't want drama. All right. They don't want hitting it and missing it. They don't want, to deal with toxicity. They will help you if they can, but they don't want to live in it with you. And typically what happens is that people are used, it's familiar to them. They're used to it. So they'll hold on to. Do you realize that there are some folks who hold on to toxicity like crack? There's some folks who hold on to toxicity like $1,000,000 because it's all they know. And they're afraid if I give that up, then who will I be? Or if I give that up, I'm going to lose my power. Or if I give that up, last but not least, again, repeating the first point, who and what will I be? Will I be vulnerable? Will I be taken advantage of? What would I do with myself? Will I be in a situation where somebody takes advantage of me? We tend to hold on to things we're familiar. That's why y'all keep bringing the same boyfriends, type of boyfriends in your life, and the same type of girlfriends, and sometimes the same type of friends, period, in your life. I'm chuckling, but it's the truth. You can't put this on the devil. Keep the devil out. Nothing but the devil. No, it's you. Well, God has sent them so he can punish me. Stop all that lying and foolishness. That's just Christianese. That ain't reality. You created this reality. If you're living with cognitive dissonance, you're going to manifest people with similarities in cognitive dissonance. Number 4, undermining personal values and goals. Undermining personal values and goals. This is how folks are affected by toxicity. Being a part of a toxic family can force individuals to compromise their values and goals to maintain peace or gain acceptance. This also might involve participating in unethical activities or ignoring personal aspirations, leading to a sense of unfulfillment and internal conflict. This is a powerful one here because some of y'all, you would be better if you had not been pressured by toxic people to do what they're doing. It's like misery loves company. It's like if they're living a rank lifestyle, if they're living a wretched lifestyle, if they're living a lifestyle that they know is not conducive for long-term success or prosperity, and it's like they want to drag you in it. They want to drag you in it. I know of families that are big in the dope game. They put pressure on the younger ones coming up to join the family business. All right. I likes to keep it real here. I know some folks that's just straight hoish. I ain't judging nobody here, but they just straight up hoish. They always in between somebody's legs, or they always got their legs open and somebody in between us because family folks said this is the way, this is natural. This is what's wrong with that. Make you a little money, get you some, feel good, go on to the next thing. I'm doing it. Your mom and daddy did it. What's wrong with it? You decided you wanted to handle yourself differently. You sensed the leaning to handle your body and your mind differently. You decided, well, alcohol is not the way for me, but everybody's handing you a bottle. Am I making any sense? I'm not saying it's a sin. I'm just saying to you, some people plunge and fall into addiction because there's a pressure that's been placed on them to participate. Oh my goodness. So they're undermining your personal values. There's a lot of people who initially don't set out to participate in the family failures. And some folks call them the family curses. But you know why they do? They do it because they're influenced by people around them to do it. Am I making any sense? I'm going to say it again. They do it because they're influenced by people around them. That's how they come initiated into the lifestyle. All right. It's a sad thing. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the late great rapper DMX, who told a story of how he got hooked on drugs by a homie, a friend he considered to be like a brother, a mentor to him, laced, I believe it was his blunt with something. I know of other situations where people either spiked, juice or gave a friend drugs unknowingly just so they could do drugs. And some of these folks are still addicted to this day. So hear me, family. The influence of toxicity has the potential, if you let it, to ruin your life, to cause you to act totally out of character with who and what you decided and desired to be. Number 5, isolation and loneliness, the impact of being in a toxic family. Toxic family members often employ tactics like we talked about it, gaslighting and isolation to maintain control. In other words, they'll tell everybody in the family, don't talk to so and so. Or they'll lie so heavily on you until other folk are back away from you. This can result in the individual feeling isolated from external support systems, exacerbating feelings of loneliness and helplessness. The realization that distancing from toxic family members might be necessary for one's well-being can also lead to temporary feelings of guilt and loneliness. And we're going to get into some steps here on how to deal with that. But some of y'all on here have been isolated by your family because you wouldn't march to the tune of their beat or the beat of their drummer. So what they did was they kick you to the side, kick you to the curb. They conspired against you to try and destroy your reputation in the family, or destroy your reputation in the group, and isolated you, had you feeling like you were on an island, had you feeling like you were unloved. You wondering why text messages stop, or when you did text people, they had attitude with their texts. You're like, what in the world is going on? So-and-so stopped popping up. It's all because ain't so-and-so dropped a seed in their heart, dropped a lie in their heart against you. So they isolated you, put you out on an island by yourself, acted like you no longer were valuable and were family. All right. These are also things that people experience when they're dealing or have been affected by toxicity. The next one is impaired communication skills. In toxic families, open and healthy communication is often absent, replaced by manipulation, passive aggressiveness, or outright hostility. Let's talk about that right quick before I finish the rest. Last but not least, I'm going to summarize that this impairs a person's ability to communicate effectively in other areas of life, affecting personal and professional relationships. So in toxic families, when you try and lend your voice to a discussion, when you try and voice your opinion, the goal of people in a toxic family is always to defend their positions and maintain what they feel is the higher ground. So one of the first things they want to do is take your voice from you. They want to take your voice from you, which means in a sense they're taking power from you. And in their mind, they're holding the cards. They're holding the power. So they will use manipulation tactics. Watch this. They'll be passive aggressive with you. In other words, they'll act like 1 minute everything is good. They'll act like, I don't have nothing against you. Everything is fine. And next thing you know, a haymaker, a right comes out of nowhere. You're like, I didn't know mama was thinking this. What I do? We just was together all day. Has that ever happened to you? You've been with a person all day. Y'all laugh, kicking it. Y'all have been out to eat. Sometimes you've been to a movie. Late that night, you get a phone call. So-and-so is upset with you. You're like, what? What do you mean so-and-so is upset with me? We were just out today. We had a good time today. Well, let me tell you what you did. And you're like, what? I just talked. We literally just went shopping together. I literally just spent $200 on her. And she upset with, why didn't she say something? It's a form of control. I'm going to lull you in and make you think you're all right. But if I think you're getting too comfortable with me and I'm giving away my power, then I'm going to control you, bam, by doing something aggressive, by like lying on you or doing something else to assert my dominance against you. Lord have mercy. I got to move on. The last point was hostile. Sometimes folks just get outright hostile. And then the seventh way these toxic families impact an individual, you have the ability to impact future generations. So I'm talking to people who have lived through the effects of growing up in a toxic family environment. It can trickle down through generations. It can become transgenerational. Sometimes the children of toxic parents unconsciously adopt similar behaviors or develop coping mechanisms that negatively affect their own children. And then it just continues a cycle of dysfunction and emotional trauma. I just talked about that unconscious, adopting, or that unconscious extraction from modeling. It's like it's passed to you and you can adopt some stuff unconsciously. Have you ever been in a situation? Let me show you how this works. Have you ever been in a situation where you start listening to yourself? You either you got married, or you start having children, or you hanging out, whatever, and you start talking, and all of a sudden it hits you. Boy, I'm sounding just like my mama. It hits you. It's like, man, I'm sounding just like my father. Man, I'm sounding just like my uncle. I'm sounding just like my brother. What is this? You were unconsciously conditioned. So just like sayings, we can say stuff, we can move our heads, we can have gestures or gesticulate, unconsciously picked up these things from people in our orbit. There are other things in a negative sense that we also can pick up. And before we know it, we had to catch ourselves and say, oh, I got to stop that because I'm sounding just like so-and-so right now. I'm sounding just like so-and-so right now. So these are the 7 ways that it can impact a person. Toxicity. Now, listen, this is a highlight, and we're going to be done shortly. I'm going to give you the first set of instructions on how to deal with toxicity, but I want to play something for y'all. Can I play a video for y'all? Let me go over here and make sure I can see your comments. Y'all ready for my video? Y'all ready for this video? A beautiful creator, and this is what inspired me a couple of weeks ago. Ricky Smiley shared a video of a beautiful creator.
Parents or a toxic family.
I want to share with y'all right now. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Everybody watching? Everybody tuned in? And then we're going to segue. We're going to use this to segue into the advice I'm going to give you as to how to deal with toxic family. Now, I got one. I'm ready. Can I get another one? Who's ready? Who's ready? I got 2. Can I get a couple more I'm ready's? Here we go. Now, listen, I want you to let this speak to you. I want you to let this woman minister to you. I want you to open your hearts up to receive what this wonderful content creator is saying. I don't know her name. It was shared on Ricky Smiley's Instagram. I wish I knew her name. Otherwise, I would give her a plug. But I want you to hear how beautifully and eloquently she communicates how to deal with toxicity. Here we go. Let's go.
When you have toxic parents or a toxic family, despite the ways they continue to turn their back on you, I'm sure you've heard it's not right for you to turn your back on them. We may only get one set of biological family, but that doesn't mean that that family is healthy or good for us. We know the saying, honor thy mother and thy father, but for some, that honor is found in distance. Sometimes it's more honorable to walk away. This is an honor that those who are not mature won't understand, because this honor says, by staying in connection with family that's harmful and unhealthy for me, even if it's silently, I harbor and direct nothing but anger, fury, resentment, frustration, maybe even hatred towards them. And those type of feelings directed at anyone are not honorable at all. But at a distance, those highly charged feelings have a chance to quiet, and I can deal with them and heal them without additional injury from a family that's harmful to begin with. The goal is getting to the place where one day, even if it's still at a distance, I hold and direct feelings of understanding and well wishes to the very parents or family that did me harm. For some, that's among the most honorable thing you can do, in the best way the circumstances allow. Boundary up. I hope this helps.
Wow. Boundary up. Boundary up. Wow. All right. Did y'all hear the video? Could you hear it? Could you see it? Could you hear and see the video? Look at the likes and hearts. I guess that's true. Now, before I move into sharing some points, I want you to give me some feedback. Good. The likes and hearts are still coming. She did an exceptional job. It was in love. It was powerful, but it was light. It was feminine. It was educational. It was sex. It was all there. Oh, it was off the chain. The way she articulated that. I want your impressions right quick of the video you just saw. Put it in the comment section. Talk to me. We're in class, so this is not just a monologue. Talk to me. I want to hear your feedback of the video you just watched. What were your impressions of what she just said? What were your impressions of what she just said? Don't everybody speak at once. Your voice is welcome here. Let me hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you got to say. Talk to me, family. What were your impressions? What were your impressions? What were your impressions? What did you think about the video? Don't get quiet on me now. Y'all been talking all night. What did you think about the message the young lady just shared with us? Talk to me. And then I'm going to give you the first set of tips. Somebody said confirmation for me. She said, thank you, Linda. It took courage to say that. It took courage to say that. Thank you, Linda, for sharing your being honest and transparent. Nick said everything she said was agreeable. Thank you. Thank you for your courage in speaking up. Trina says, well said. Thank you. That's right. Sometimes you do need to walk away in love, and we're going to discuss that. Anybody else want to share your impressions of the video? Just powerful. Just powerful. Short and sweet and to the point. Absolutely. 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 Last but not least, when you let go of the expectations from family and friends, then you can truly be free. Powerful, powerful, powerful statement. I love it. I love it. Here's the first set of instructions that I'm going to give you tonight. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it better on your screen. Let me try this. Here we go. And let me position myself so that I can see it better. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing your feedback. Thank you for sharing your feedback with me. Set boundaries and limit your interactions. This is the first set of instructions that I'm giving you in how to deal with toxic families. I want you to type it in the comments section. I've got to set boundaries. Type it in the comment section. I've got to set boundaries. Type that in the comment section for me. I've got to set boundaries. Type that in the comment section for me. I've got to set boundaries. Boundaries. When you're setting boundaries, family, limit topics discussed. That's the first thing to your left at the top. So in other words, there are some topics that may act like lighter fluid. Stay away from it. If they want to bring up something that you've already tried to discuss and you feel like it's fruitless to discuss it, then don't discuss it anymore. You know why? Because it always leads, if the pattern has been, it always leads to the end, the same ending, which is unfruitful and unproductive. Then stop discussing it. No matter how they bring it up, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, stop discussing it. Some of y'all are trying to ride a dead horse. Some of y'all are going down that same pathway, and you know it. You can tell when the discussion changes. You could be talking about cars and, your job and, the things you want to do. And all of a sudden they say, what about so-and-so? It's like, we always end up here. And every time we end up here, we end up, no. I'm not trying to start no argument, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. But you know it's going to most likely end in an argument or harsh feelings. You know that. All right. You know that. So you've got to set boundaries. And you start by deciding what you will and will not discuss. If it's something that you want to be off limits to them, don't discuss it. See, this is the type of person I am. Can I tell y'all the type of person I am? I've been around long enough to have developed some wisdom to realize that even if I say something to somebody in confidence, I've grown enough to know that I got to be willing to consider the consequences if my confidant says something. So guess what? That's why I don't say everything unless I don't mind it leaking. When I say mind it, it doesn't mean I want it to leak. No, I'm just saying if it leaks, I got my big boy pants on and I'm ready, whatever it is. So I'm saying to you all, stop talking to people about stuff that they're never going to agree with you on. You saw some of the signs we mentioned earlier. They don't respect your opinion. Anyway, why are you talking to folk that don't respect your opinion? Why are you trying to go deep with people that don't even respect what you're saying? They don't even give you the consideration of having an intellect and being mature enough to live your life and make your own decisions. You hear what I'm saying? The next thing is learn how to, I guess it'll go down to the bottom, control the time. Control the time. That means limit conversations to specific settings or lengths of time. And see, this is another thing. Can I tell y'all something? I don't want to tell y'all too many secrets, but that's why most of the time I like driving myself to different places, even if it's a family function. You know why? Because, I want to leave when I want to leave. Especially if I'm in the midst of dealing with, toxicity like we've been discussing in this series. Listen, I'm not trying to be around toxic folk for 3 hours. I don't have a tolerance for negativity and toxicity. Brother Green don't have that gift. I don't have that anointing for that. Listen, there's a difference between me counseling you and you toxic. It's my job to bring you up. I got a built-in patience. I got a built-in love. I'll never crack in front of you. I'll never break. I'll never make you think there's anything wrong with you. I'm built to love like that and to help like that. But listen, I'll be doggone if I'm going to spend 3 hours amidst a bunch of toxic folk. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to meet some of y'all along the way. And now listen, if you invite me to your toxic family event, like Iyanla has to do from time to time with the show to counsel folk, I might show up for that. But if you know these jokers are toxic and they don't want no help, don't expect me to stay at the barbecue for 3 hours. Don't expect me to be at the cookout for 3 hours. Don't expect me to hang out at the restaurant for 4 hours with y'all. Okay, I'm not getting ready to do it. That's why, listen, between my car and Uber or Lyft, I'm out. If it gets to a point, the temperature is rising, I'm gone. I don't like to be around for dramatic crap, dramatic foolishness. So control your time and control your conversations and control the types of settings you want to be, the settings you want to be in with these people. The next thing is bottom right to your right, list talking points. Decide what you're going to talk about. Make a list of stuff. Now, this is when you're going to have a one-on-one. If you're getting ready to have a one-on-one, and this is kind of what this is covering too. If you're having a one-on-one with somebody who's just been offending you, and this is your attempt to try and reconcile, to try and get it straight, you limit the topics discussed. You control the time. You list the talking points in advance. Because, some of y'all, sometimes when you get in front of people you really love, and they'd have been the one that's the biggest bully or the biggest harasser or the biggest toxic offender, Sometimes your knees start shaking and you forget what you want to say. You got that treble come out your voice and you be shaking because you don't want your mama, your daddy, big mama or your cousin or whoever to be offended. And you get in front of them and you just soften up and cower down. No, write a list of talking points out. See, I don't like the way you talked about my nose. See, I don't like the way you just slid into my business, dropped the negative seed, and then exited. See, I don't like the way you always taking but never get. Write that list down. Last but not least, you set the terms. If you're going to have an interaction with the family, make sure it's on your own terms. All right? Try and put it on your home turf. If you do it in their setting, then have it built into your plan. I'm not going to be there long. I'm only going to be there for a certain length of time. See, right now we're in the preliminary stages. We're setting these boundaries. We're going to attempt to see if the situation is reconcilable. If it can't be reconciled, I got other steps for you next week in our last installment that I'm going to share with you. But by all means, even if you are not intending to address any matter or situation as it relates to family concerning what we've been discussing in terms of toxicity, take these pointers and apply them to your life. Hear me, family. Hear me. This is if you're going out of town at the next holiday that's coming up and they didn't put pressure on you, I don't fool with everybody, but they didn't put pressure on you. They put pressure on you. You got to show up. We need you to show up. You always isolate yourself and you never participate. Or when you come, you sit in the corner. Some of the reason why some of y'all sitting in corners because you just don't want to deal with these hellions. That's why y'all sitting in corners. That's why you limit your conversation and your speech. Listen, but take my advice. This is another thing. My family that know me know this. I very rarely, I have different places I can stay when I go out of town. It's nothing personal. I love most of the people that invite me to stay at their houses. I prefer staying in a hotel or Airbnb or whatever. So this is what you do. This is what you do according to the first bit of advice we shared with you tonight. You're going to control the environment. You're going to control everything. Try and save up enough money where you and your kids can get a hotel. Okay. So when these jokers decide they want to cross lines with you like they're accustomed to, you ain't going to be around to take the beating all day and all night. You're going to get your kids or you're going to get your fine self or your handsome self together. You say, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I got one more day or whatever. See you in the morning. Well, where you going? I got a hotel. Well, who picked you up? I call Uber. If you're in a town near me and I'm available, I'll pick you up and drop you off and come back to my house just to make sure you don't get stuck in a blizzard, get stuck in a storm of toxicity, rain in crap, rain in drama, rain in foolishness, rain in chicanery, rain in dysfunction. You don't want to get caught in that storm. So remember that slide I just put up. Use those pointers to prevent yourself from being overexposed. Do you realize that there's certain gases, if you're overexposed to it, it's detrimental to your health and even detrimental to your life? And I don't think, and this is my last point, I don't think some of us realize, number one, how negatively or severely we've been impacted mentally by growing up in toxicity. And then we are also underestimating in the present how being in these severely intense toxic environments, how it's impacting our present mental health. Family, I feel something now while I'm talking to you. I feel something now while I'm talking to you. I'm encouraging you. I'm declaring and speaking to you right now to protect your mental health. Protect your mental health. I want you to type this in the comment section. Number one, type, I'm protecting my mental health. I want you to type that in the comment section. I'm protecting my mental health. I want you to understand. Paul said on one occasion, with my mind, I serve the Lord. Not just that, but with your mind. This is how you navigate through this matrix. This is how you are navigating through this existence. And if your mind is damaged, if your soul is tainted, it's going to disrupt your journey. It's going to impede your progress. It's going to make it a living hell for you. Number two, I want you to type in the comment section, I'm going to guard my heart. I'm going to guard my heart. Even the scripture says, guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. Type in the comment section, I'm going to guard my heart. The word issues in Hebrew is the word boundary. For out of it flow the issues, the boundaries of life. And yes, this might be difficult to hear, but you've got to guard your heart sometimes from close family members. This may be challenging to hear, but you might have to guard your heart from toxic church members. This might be difficult to hear, but you might have to guard your heart from a toxic spouse, a toxic boyfriend or girlfriend. I'm asking you, what are you still doing in a relationship if it's toxic? But that's a conversation for another time. Guard your heart. Last but not least, I say this to you by discernment, that some of you all are battered mentally, and you've been battered by people. You've been battered by toxic people in your childhood. Some of you were touched inappropriately by toxic people. In your childhood, some of you were rejected and abandoned and parented inappropriately by a toxic man or woman or group. And you fought it through your teenage years. You fought it in your early 20s. Some of you are in your 30s and 40s and beyond, and you're still fighting it. Some of you have had 30 relationships and 5 marriages, and you've had some measure of success, but there feels like there's an emptiness in your heart. When your head hits the pillow, some nights you feel so neglected and forsaken by the people who are supposed to love you. Mansatadama. But I say to you right now that this teaching comes from the heart of God. This love is being issued from eternity into you as eternity and into a body that's connected to interface with physicality and time. Your wholeness and your completeness is directly connected to your ability to accept in the moment what the scholar said. I'm not worthless. I've just been underappreciated. I want you to hold these words in your heart right now. I've always been priceless. I've always been priceless. I've always been one whose worth is immeasurable. And I know sometimes we define ourselves by the way people look at us. We define ourselves by what people say to us. We define ourselves by the things that are said to us and about us. Ooh, I sense this so strong. But I hear the Spirit of God say, be free from these liars. Be free from these oppressors. Be free from those who did not know who you were and still do not know who you are. And I say, with the unction and guidance of the Holy One, that I love you. I say from the unction of the Holy One that he loves you. And I say by unction of the Holy One that you are worthy of the greatest, most passionate, fulfilling love, even beyond what you could ever imagine. And if you're watching me tonight, and all of these things have hit home to you, and you've even seen some personal traits in your own self or in your own family, I want you to make a declaration within yourself. I'm free. I refuse to be limited. I refuse to be hindered. I refuse to be bound. I am free. Oh, I sense the presence of the living God so strong. Come on, type that in the comments section. I am free. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Type that in the comment section. I am free. I am free. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. I'm no longer going to live in anybody's cave. I'm no longer going to live in anybody's shadow. I'm no longer going to live in anybody's prison cell. I'm no longer going to live in anybody's extortion. I'm no longer going to live in anybody's misappropriation of treatment toward me. I am liberated, and I am free. Almighty, I thank you now in this moment and in this hour for everybody who's watching me, for we all have a story. We all have something that we're grappling with. But I thank you right now for freeing the heart, for freeing the mind, for opening somebody else like a flower in bloom to greater dimensional possibilities of self-love and self-respect. And I just thank you in this moment and in this hour that shackles and chains are being broken. I speak and declare and decree healing and wholeness. Thank you. The seeds have already been planted. They're watering and growing. Thank you, Almighty God, for freedom, for wholeness, for deliverance, for the breaking of the shackles and chains on the hearts and minds and even the bodies of those who've been listening. And we declare our freedom. We declare our freedom from people. We declare our freedom from dysfunction. We declare our freedom from all these haters. We declare our freedom for all these falsifiers of behavior. We declare our freedom from all these nefarious people. And by faith, ooh, I hear the Spirit of God said that when some of you are free from this, your money is going to be free to flow through you. By faith. So you've limited and restricted and hindered yourself based on the opinions of other people. But you're now going to begin to open yourself up to your worthiness. to succeed, to prosper, to grow, to be. And we declare that it is so. And so it is. In Yeshua's name, by his power, his consciousness, it is so. And so it is. Oh, my, 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 my. My, 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 my. I am free. I am free. How y'all feeling tonight? Talk back to me. How you feeling tonight? If you want to give, you can always use the giving opportunities at the bottom of the screen. And I thank those who, when you are blessed, you sow and give. You make deposits in my life of love. Thank you for that. But before I release you, tell me how you're feeling right quick. Tell me how this message has impacted you. This teaching has impacted you. Talk to me. Talk to me. How are you? I feel your hearts. I sense your hearts. Some of you are quiet. Some of you are weeping. Some of you are pondering. Some of you've got tears in your eyes. Some of you are energized. But I sense you. I sense you so strongly. The hand of love, the hand of the Almighty is in you, and a part of you. It's time for you to awaken and to rise up. Ooh, my, my, my. My, 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 my. Ooh, my, 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 my. I feel like running. Thank you for your testimonies. I feel like running. I feel like running. Thank you for spending some time with little old me tonight. Thank you for spending some time with little old me tonight. I'm going to release you with the shalom blessing. Let me put the QR code up one more time. And I'm going to leave it up probably as we sign off. Scan that QR code, and I want you to join 2 of my mailing lists. 2 of the mailing lists on my link tree. The first one says join my empowerment list. And you're going to scroll down 3 bars. The next one says join my healthy mailing list. I want you to connect with those 2 using Linktree. Let's see here. Trina says, I feel God stretching out in me. Oh, yeah. Watch out now. We might start singing that. We might start singing that and have a conniption, a Holy Ghost conniption, as they say. Oh, God, such energy, such power, such presence is with you and upon you. You are dynamite. You are dynamite. Look like we got another interesting person who's dropped online. We rebuke that. We don't accept none of that. Oh, my goodness. I guess I must be doing something. I'm getting folks trying to get you to call other people on the broadcast. I appreciate you all so dearly. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Scan that QR code. And you can also connect with me in other ways there, but I want you to join my mailing list. I'm growing it. I'm growing it. Yes, I'm growing it. I appreciate you. Who is this? Let's see. She says that toxic people are everywhere because spiritual warfare is everywhere. Toxic people are everywhere because toxic people are just organically from their ecosystems toxic. We can't blame everything on spirituality. We have a choice. We get to choose our decisions. The Almighty has granted us that ability to do that. And some people choose a path that leads them into a world of toxicity. But there's freedom and wholeness from that if you desire that. I appreciate you, sweetie, for sharing that comment with me. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to release you tonight with the shalom blessing. Thank all of you for tuning in. Your day is going to be great. Your week is going to be great. I'm in agreement with you for things to manifest for your good, work out for your good as it has been declared and decreed in Scripture. And I release you tonight with the shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing and nothing broken. By Yeshua's name, his power, his consciousness, it is so and so it is. Enjoy your night. Thank you. Love you dearly. Take care.